Her breath caught. She didn't let it show, but it caught. She had walked into the room the way she walked into every room, like it already belonged to her, like the air had been waiting. Around her, the usual quiet moved through the usual people. Men in dark suits keeping their eyes careful. A woman in the corner cataloguing something on a tablet without looking up. A handler near the far wall speaking in that low, practiced tone of someone who had done this enough times that it no longer required full attention. She had been called here. She didn't usually come to places like this. The person who called her knew that. They had explained nothing. Just come, see it yourself. She understood now. At the center of the room, under a single circle of light, a man knelt, chained, white wings spread behind him, real feathers, real weight, not a display, just held there, the way something holds a position it has been kept in long enough to stop noticing. His body was dense in a way that didn't follow normal proportions, built quiet and heavy across the back and shoulders, endurance, wearing the shape of a person. He wasn't looking at anything. Not the floor, not the room, not her, just nowhere. The specific nowhere of something that had stopped expecting the view to change. The handler's voice floated over, unhurried. "Lot 7, fully contained." She said nothing. How did they even find him? Benjamin was born in 1999. A small village. Poor people. The kind of poor where another mouth isn't just inconvenient. It's a threat to everyone already there. His parents didn't want him. Not out of cruelty, not exactly. Out of math. Survival math. And the numbers didn't leave room for one more. But what they noticed on his back in those first weeks made everything worse. 2 marks. Small. His mother thought they were birthmarks. His father didn't think much of them at all until the months passed, until the marks grew, until the skin around them shifted in ways skin wasn't supposed to shift, until the first white feathers broke through. By the time it was undeniable, the village had already made up its mind. Some said he was an angel, a blessing sent from above. Others said he was a curse, that something dark had followed his birth in. And some, out of ignorance sharp enough to cut, said things about his mother that she carried alone and never spoke of. He was 3 years old the night his father came home, with a serious face and a decision already made. Benjamin was sitting with his mother in their small house when his father walked in and said he had found a buyer. His mother refused, immediately, completely. Then his father said the price, 20 gold pieces, enough to feed them both for a full year, maybe more. The refusal didn't survive the night. She wept. Benjamin wept. He clung to her leg with everything a 3-year-old has, which is everything, because that's all they know to give. She made herself let go anyway. That kind of letting go doesn't leave. And just like that, he belonged to someone else. The first owner was wealthy, kept Benjamin the way someone keeps a rare object, displayed for guests, pointed at, discussed. By then his body had already begun adapting in ways that set him further apart. His frame was denser than it should have been. His back and shoulders reinforced by years of carrying what was growing out of them. He was small and already built like something that had been quietly preparing to survive. They called him things. The flying boy, the angel child, half chicken. He heard all of it. It didn't take long before the wealthy man grew bored and sold him to a friend. The friend sold him to a circus. He travelled with them for years under the name Son of the Swan. Last act, every night. The lights would drop, and he would spread his wings, wide, white, undeniable. And the crowd would go still in that particular way. Crowds go still when they see something they can't explain. They didn't treat him well. Punishment was routine. Food was sometimes withheld after escape attempts, and there were many escape attempts. None of them worked, but in the in-between spaces, he built things. Small friendships, quiet ones, a performer who shared food without being asked, a stagehand who never looked at his wings like they were a spectacle. None of it lasted. It never lasted, because lasting required staying, and staying was never his choice to make. Every friendship ended the same way. A sale, a new city, a new owner who had already decided what he was before they ever met him. The years moved the way years move through hard things, slowly then all at once. Benjamin grew up, not into freedom, just into size, into a body that had adapted so completely to what it carried that it was hard to tell anymore where the burden ended and the person began, until the day a strange organization found him, acquired him, and delivered him here, to this room, to this light, to this auction. 25 years old, kneeling in a chain, not broken in any obvious way, just gone quiet in the places where a person used to be. The auction opened without fanfare, not the kind with a podium and a man in a suit calling out numbers to a lively room. This was the other kind, the kind where bids appeared on a screen and climbed in silence, placed by people who preferred their transactions quiet, and their names unattached to what they were purchasing. The room had its own atmosphere, contained, attentive, the energy of people pretending to be casual about what they wanted. Numbers moved on the screen: 207, 490, 600. Diana watched. She wasn't bidding. Not yet, just standing slightly apart from the room. The way she stood apart from most things, observing the number climb and asking herself, quietly, without urgency, why she was still here. He wasn't useful to her. He didn't fit into anything she was building. There was no logical reason for her presence in this room tonight. And Diana did not typically occupy spaces without a reason. And yet, she stayed. The bidding began to slow. The numbers flattened. A countdown started. The final stretch before the highest offer would take him. 2,550. Diana entered double. The countdown reset. A few heads turned, not many. People in rooms like this learned quickly not to react to other people's decisions, but the number was, even by the standards of this room, significant. She won him before the next serious challenge came. She stood still for a moment after the screen confirmed it. Not satisfied, not troubled, just aware that she had done something uncharacteristic. One impulsive decision dropped into the center of a week that had otherwise consisted entirely of careful ones. She made hundreds of decisions regularly, each one measured, considered from every angle before it was ever executed. This one she had made in approximately 4 seconds. She wasn't entirely sure why. There was a reason somewhere underneath it. She could feel the shape of it. But she hadn't decided yet. To look at it directly. After the formalities closed, Diana walked to where he was still kneeling. She studied him the way she studied everything, not with possession, not with sentiment, just accurately. Close enough now to see what the distance had softened. He still hadn't looked at her. She didn't ask if he was human. She didn't ask if he could speak or whether he understood her. She was observant enough to have already answered those questions herself, watching the small, barely there shifts in his posture when voices changed around him, the way his body processed the room, even when the rest of him had gone somewhere else entirely. He understood. He had understood everything said near him for a very long time. That much was already clear to her. Are you aggressive? Simple. Direct. No performance in it. 5 full seconds passed. Then he shook his head. Slowly. Just once. Diana turned to her security. Help him up. We're leaving. Not bring him. Not take him. Help him. Benjamin heard the difference. He wasn't sure yet what to do with it. After the payment was confirmed and the paperwork signed, Benjamin found himself inside a black car, the kind built for discretion, the kind that doesn't draw attention and doesn't apologize for its size. 2 of Diana's guards sat on either side of him. They weren't rough the way he expected guards to be. They were simply professional, serious, trained. They didn't ask questions and they didn't fill silence with words. Dark suits, weapons visible just enough under their jackets to make their purpose clear. Benjamin still stood out between them. He always did. His frame broader than it should be, his wings folded tight against his back, taking up space the car wasn't designed to accommodate. The ride was long and quiet. When they arrived, his eyes adjusted slowly to what he was seeing. A gate, then grounds, then more grounds. A garden that stretched in a way gardens weren't supposed to stretch. And at the center of it all, a house that the word house had no business describing. He had heard about places like this, in passing, in stories, in the background noise of rooms he had been kept in while other people lived their lives around him. Hearing about something and standing in front of it are not the same thing. Both cars parked at the inner gate at the same time. Diana stepped out first. She stood there for a moment, still, like she was asking herself a question she hadn't finished yet. Benjamin watched her from inside the car, the initial shock of the place beginning to fade, replaced by the familiar weight of remembering what he actually was, what this actually was. A new place, a new owner, a different set of walls. She turned and signaled the guards. He stepped out. A light breeze moved across his face, cool, unexpected. He didn't react to it, but he felt it. "You're dismissed," Diana told the guards. Then she turned to Benjamin. "Follow me." She walked toward the entrance without checking if he was behind her. He followed, his steps quickening slightly to match hers. She didn't warn him about what would happen if he tried something. She didn't need to. And somehow, neither did he. The door opened before they reached it. "Welcome back, miss." The butler stopped. His eyes had found the wings. Diana didn't acknowledge the pause. She stepped inside and something caught in her mind. She didn't know his name. She had purchased him, brought him here, and didn't know his name. She turned at the door. "What's your name?" He looked at the butler first, then at her. A brief hesitation, like the question itself was unfamiliar. "Ben," he said, quietly, like he wasn't sure it still belonged to him. Diana turned back to her butler. "He'll be staying with us for a while. Take him to the guest room." The inside of the house moved through him like something he didn't have words for. He had belonged to wealthy people before. He knew what wealth looked like from the inside. The art on the walls, the unnecessary space, the staff that never made eye contact. He thought he had seen the full range of it. He hadn't. This made everything before it look small. The guest room had a bathroom, clean clothes, food waiting. He hadn't expected any of it. He accepted it anyway, the way he had learned to accept most things, without reaction, without trust, but without resistance either. He changed. The clothes fit in a way clothes rarely fit him, cut with enough room across the back, as if someone had thought ahead. He stood in the mirror for a moment longer than necessary. He looked like a person. That was strange. Eventually he sat on the edge of the bed, not fully on it, just the edge, the old habit of someone who has learned not to assume permission. He ran one hand across the sheets, soft, unreasonably soft. It felt like the edge of a dream. But dreams, in his experience, had a way of ending badly. He didn't know what was coming this time, only that it was different. And different had never promised him anything. Thank you so much for watching. This story took a lot of time and effort to bring to life, so I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a like, sharing the video, and subscribing. It helps more than you know. Thank you for your support, and as always, much love.